Okay guys, so there's a mistake that I see new Amazon sellers making again and again. And if you make this mistake, your chances of success with your Amazon product are basically slim to none. So I want to show you what this mistake is so that you can actually avoid making it yourself. So let's say that you're an average Amazon seller, right? Let's imagine you're an average Amazon seller thinking of getting started with a private label product. And let's say that you've got about a £5,000 or $5,000 starting budget, pretty typical for a new seller. And let's say that you've come across a product like this. So you've come across a probiotic supplement. You see that it does really good revenue. So if we're looking at these revenue numbers, they're insane. All of these sellers are doing around, 100 to 200,000, £1,000 in monthly revenue. So you see the revenue numbers, the demand's really strong for the product. You've thought of a great gap in the market that you found that you feel that allows you to, basically launch a more desirable offer into the market that's going to absolutely smash your competitors. You may look at this product or a product like this and think, okay, this is going to be perfect. There's such strong demand for this product. I only need to sell or basically steal a very small percentage of the market share, right? If all of these guys here are doing 200,000 per month and, I just need to steal a very small percentage of that, like some of these guys down here, and I can be doing maybe 5 or 10K per month in revenue, and that would work for my budget. And if you don't really know what you're doing properly, you don't know how product launches work on Amazon, the logic there's sound. But if you are an experienced seller and if you know what you're doing, you know how product launches work, and if you're watching this will know that would be a fatal error if you went for a product with this high demand for your starting budget. And I want to explain why. So when customers shop on Amazon, what they typically do is they search for a keyword or search term, and then they look at the products in the top kind of third or half of the first page of results on Amazon. And the vast majority of clicks and sales happen in that first top third or half of the first page on Amazon. So as an Amazon seller, if you want to get sales for your product, you need to show up, you need to get visibility in that top half of page 1 for all of the search terms that people are actually using to find your product. And there's 2 ways you can do that. The first way is that you can do that through PPC advertising, so sponsored positions. So if you see here, the top of search, these are sponsored positions here and also sponsored positions here, which means that people are using PPC advertising to pay to actually have their product show up here. So the first way is PPC advertising, and then the second way is organic visibility. So this is an organically ranked product that's organically ranked position number 1, organic position number 2, 3, 4, and so on. So those are the 2 ways that you can get visibility in that top half of the search results. Now, when you first launch a new product, you don't have really any organic ranking or very bad organic ranking. So really your only option is to use PPC advertising to kind of get those initial sales and get the ball rolling. Now, the issue with using Amazon PPC advertising is that PPC is expensive. And because PPC is expensive, it's very hard and very difficult to actually make profit on your PPC sales. So essentially, because you're paying for the clicks when someone clicks on your sponsored products, and because those clicks are quite expensive, normally those sales you make from PPC ads are not profitable. However, when someone clicks on your organic listing, it's free. So you make 100% profit margin, not 100%, but you make your full profit margins on organic clicks and organic sales. So as a private label Amazon FBA seller, really what your goal is with your product, the holy grail of selling on Amazon, is basically gaining good organic keyword ranking for your product, because that's when you get organic visibility, organic sales, and that's where you make your profitable sales. So PPC is a great tool for getting the ball rolling and gaining and driving and maintaining organic ranking, but really organic ranking is what you want to achieve as an Amazon seller with your private label product. And to get good organic visibility and organic sales for your product, you really want to be ranked in really the top 5 to 10 organic positions for all of your target keywords, right? So, just as these sellers are here. The second important thing to understand is that to gain organic ranking, if you wanted to gain organic ranking position 5 to 10, for example, for the keyword probiotic or for these keywords for this product, you need to match the performance of your top ranked competitors. And when I say match the performance, what I mean by that is basically have as high as a conversion rate and sales velocity, which is daily number of sales, as those competitors are doing. So let's say you wanted to rank in the top 5 to 10 for this product, for these keywords, you would need to match the sales velocities of these competitors. And if we look at these sales velocities, they're very, very high, these monthly sales. So you may be starting to see what the problem is here. So if you were launching this product, you know that your goal is to gain high organic keyword ranking, and I've explained why you need to do that. And we also know that to be able to do that, you need to match the sales velocity of your top ranked competitors. And we also know that the sales velocity is extremely high for products, for this product, and products that have high demand, right? Okay, so we can pretty comfortably say that if you wanted to gain good organic ranking for this product, you'd need to be doing about, I guess, kind of 5 to 15,000 monthly sales. Like that's what these top ranked competitors are doing. So if we look at the revenue, we can quite comfortably say you'd need to be doing about 150K in monthly revenue with this product if you're selling at similar prices to these guys to be able to gain good organic ranking for this product. So we know that to match the sales velocity of these competitors, in order to gain a good organic ranking, you need to be doing about 150K per month in revenue. And let's say that your cost of goods sold is about 20% of your sale price, 20% of your revenue, which is pretty typical. You'd be looking at, that would be about £30,000 that you would need to have spent on stock just to sell 1 month, just 1 month at the same sales velocities that these guys are selling at in order to gain good organic ranking. So let's say that you did have a 5K budget, like we said, and you maybe put 1 or 2K aside for all of your brand startup costs, and then you had about £3,000 to £4,000 for your stock costs. You would only be able to buy enough stock to essentially sell at the same level as these guys for like 3 or 4 days, which essentially means there's absolutely no chance with that starting budget that you could buy enough stock to match the sales velocity of your top ranked competitors, which means you would never be able to gain organic ranking for all of your target keywords. Therefore, you would never be able to get organic sales, which would be your profitable sales, which means you would be 100% essentially reliant on PPC sales. And as we said, it's very hard to make profitable sales with PPC, and therefore it's going to be very difficult for you to have success with that product. And this is such an easy mistake to make if you don't understand the theory behind a product launch and the mechanics behind a product launch, right? And I work with a lot of existing sellers who join my training program after they've tried to do it on their own, and they've not understood this theory. So I wanted to create this video basically just hopefully to help any of you watching who may be in this situation, maybe trying to launch a product that's outside of your demand. And hopefully this is going to stop you doing that and stop you losing that money. Now, I also want to take this one step further and just also explain something else, right? So let's say you were launching a product like this where all the sellers are doing about 150K, 200K in revenue, right? Using this as the same example. And let's say instead of a 5K budget, you had a 30K budget. So you could buy enough stock to last you a full month of selling at the same level of these guys. In that situation, would that be a big enough starting budget? You may think it would. Again, the answer would be no, and I want to explain why. This is what a typical product launch looks like on Amazon. Of course, every product is different, but this is pretty typical, right? You launch a product, you match the sales velocity and performance of your top ranked competitors, ideally outperform them, you start to gain organic ranking. And then typically what you see is that for your first month or two, you're normally not profitable. You normally make a loss for your first month. Then what happens is you go from making a loss to breaking even into profitability over a few month period. Now, the reason why that happens is that when you first launch a new product, all you're focused on is gaining organic ranking. So you normally drop your price a little bit. You're normally quite aggressive with your PPC campaigns. You basically put money into the product, into marketing the product. You lose money short term to then gain good organic ranking and make profitable sales long term. That's a pretty typical launch process and launch period. So because most new Amazon FBA products don't make profit, they actually make a loss for their first month. So let's say you did have a 30K budget and you bought enough stock to have 1 month worth of stock selling at the same level of your top ranked competitors. So let's say that you did that, your first month wasn't profitable, you actually made a loss your first month, which like I said is pretty typical. You would then run out of stock at the end of that first month, and you would have made a loss on that stock, and therefore you wouldn't have any money left over to basically place a second order if the product was performing well. So you basically would have just lost all of your investment into that product because you hadn't made any profit yet. So really what you need is you need a big enough starting budget to be able to buy 3 to 4 months worth of stock comfortably. If you can buy 3 to 4 months worth of stock, that allows you to go through a proper launch process, make a loss your first month, slowly move into breaking even and profitability, make some money back from your stock at that point, place another order with your manufacturer, and have enough stock runway to not go out of stock and be out of stock for a really long period of time. So to be able to launch a product like this, you'd probably need about £150,000 starting budget to be able to comfortably launch a product like this. That would allow you enough budget to buy a few months worth of stock, have some budget for all of the brand startup costs, and also some leftover cash to go towards your second stock order. So yeah, guys, I hope you found the video helpful. Even if this helps just stop one person making this mistake and losing their money, then it was worth creating this video. So yeah, I hope it has helped you. What I would say is a general rule of thumb is that when you're looking at a product you're considering launching, you can essentially afford to launch a product that generates about 1 times your starting budget in monthly revenue. So if you have a starting budget of £5,000, look for products where all of the top ranked competitors are doing around £5,000 per month in revenue. If you have a budget of £10,000, look for ones that are doing about £10,000 in monthly revenue. It's a rough estimate, but that's really a rough rule of thumb. But anyway, I hope you guys found the video helpful. If you did, give it a like, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.